relationships. How to show your love in a way that makes your partner and children actually feel loved. Have you ever wondered how you can build happy, healthy family relationships that make you smile with gratitude for giving and receiving love in a way that nurtures you and uplifts you? Today, I will share with you 3 ways to give and receive love in a way that makes you, your partner, and your children feel deeply loved. For the purpose of this episode, I will define family relationships within the context of long-term committed relationships, such as marriages and other long-term mutual agreements, parental relationships between fathers, mothers, and children, and sibling relationships between brothers and sisters. Our vision is to create family units that feel whole, grounded, and securely attached. To illustrate this point, I would like to share with you what Dr. Gary Chapman teaches about happy, healthy, long-term relationships.
The individuals in that relationship must feel loved and appreciated. And you can have a long-term marriage without this. We all know people have been married for 30 years and they don't feel loved by each other. They live as roommates in the same house. So they've had a long-term marriage, but they haven't had a healthy marriage. So what I want to talk about is, how do you have a long-term healthy marriage? Or how do you have a long-term healthy relationship with your children? Or with a friend? And I believe that this is essential. Deep inside of us is the need to feel loved. In fact, almost everyone agrees, Christians and non-Christians alike, that the most fundamental emotional need we have is the need to feel loved. I like to picture inside every child there's an emotional love tank. And if the love tank is full, that is, the child genuinely feels loved by the parents, the child grows up normally. But if the love tank is empty and the child does not feel loved, the child grows up with many internal struggles. And in the teenage years, the child will go looking for love, typically in all the wrong places. But I believe that adults also have a love tank. And if you're married, the person you would most like to love you is your spouse. In fact, if you feel loved by your spouse, life is beautiful. But if the love tank is empty and you feel like they don't love me, they wish they weren't married to me, life can begin to look pretty dark. And just as much of the misbehavior of children grows out of an empty love tank, I believe that much of the misbehavior of adults grows out of an empty love tank.
May I ask you a question about your love tank? If each of us have emotional love tanks that were supposed to be filled in our childhood by the love our parents gave us, but in adulthood we feel our love tanks empty, is there a chance we are grown children with empty love tanks? Is there a possibility that you or your lover are still children in need of love? That is your childlike innocence, the desire to love and be loved just as you are. As adults, can we really give love to our children and our lovers from empty tanks? What does it mean to give love? Let's see what Dr. Gabor Mate has to say.
Because I take it for granted that all parents love their kids. And even hard as it is to fathom, but even the parents who abuse their kids love their kids. They just don't know how else to love them because they're acting out their own childhood programming. So by love here in this case, I don't mean the emotion. I mean the capacity to be present with and understand and see the other human being for exactly who they are, and to accept them for who they are, and to invite them unconditionally to be in your presence exactly the way they are. That's what love actually is. And so I can tell you as a parent, I was completely incapable of giving that to my kids because I was still dealing with my own childhood stuff as an adult. When children don't receive that unconditional, what Carl Rogers called the unconditional positive regard, or the unconditional invitation to be in my presence exactly the way you are, then they have to adapt to that. Why do they have to adapt? Because they need the attachment relationship without which they can't survive.
Let's be clear. We're not doubting the love you feel for your kids and your partner. The question is, are you showing them your love or giving them your love in a way that makes them feel loved? I invite you to do some self-reflection and find answers to these questions. What do you need to feel loved? What does your lover need to feel loved? What do your children need to feel loved? Ladies and gentlemen, lovers of all ages, welcome to another special edition of the Healthy Lovers Hour, right here on Voza World Radio and coming soon to Voza World TV. Make sure the kids are in bed, invite your lover to join you, grab a notebook and a pen, and we will be live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Live from the USA. Broadcasting around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, lovers of all ages, you're listening to the Healthy Lovers Hour. Streaming to the world and beyond. We talk and you enjoy deep entertainment, life inspiration, and heart-centered conversations for your personal growth, personal excellence, and self-expansion right here on Voza World Radio every Thursday night at 10 p.m. with your host, Gladys Berry.
A transformational teacher who has refused to give in to mediocrity, refused to be defined by the wounds of her past. A gifted life coach, author, and speaker who has experienced and risen from the lows of domestic violence and gone on to make a substantial contribution for social change, so that we can break the pattern of handing down family dysfunction and poverty to kids and create harmony, love, opportunity, and prosperity in our homes. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the founder of Healing Family Wounds, LLC, Gladys Berry.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Healthy Lovers Hour, right here on Voza World Radio. My name is Gladys Berry, and I am your host tonight. This talk show is for you if you are a high-performing professional and you want to heal and strengthen your relationship with heart-centered solutions that help you grow and expand into the healthiest lover and trusted leader your partner will ever find. This is a safe space where you can open your mind to heart-centered conversations for your personal growth, personal excellence, and self-expansion, because this is where we bring a beautiful integration of neuroscience, human psychology, and modern spirituality, so that you can own your power to lead with excellence in every area of your life. You have worked hard to become successful in your professional life, and you deserve the same level of success in your personal relationships and family life, so that you can experience harmony, affluence, influence, abundance in all areas of your life. That is our culture of personal excellence. Today we are talking about healthy, happy family relationships. How to show your love in a way that makes your partner and your children feel deeply loved. Before we begin, I would like you to grab your notebook and your pen and write down the answers to these questions. What makes you feel loved? Write that down. What makes me feel loved? We're going to take a dance break to give you the chance to think and write down what makes you feel loved. You will use this formula to complete these sentences. I feel loved when blank, blank, blank. I feel loved when blank, blank, blank. So go ahead, healthy lovers, write down, and we will be right back after the dance break. Gentlemen, this is the Healthy Lovers Hour, broadcasting around the world from Voza World Radio. My name is Gladys Berry and I am your host tonight. This is a safe space where you can open your mind to heart-centered conversations for your personal growth, personal excellence, and self-expansion. Because this is where we bring a beautiful integration of neuroscience, human psychology, and modern spirituality, so that you can own your power to lead with excellence in every area of your life. Today we are talking about happy, healthy family relationships. How to show your love in a way that makes your partner and your children feel deeply loved. While we took a dance break, you were going to complete 2 sentences that begin with, I feel loved when ... I hope you did get the chance to complete those sentences. Thank you for writing that down. Now I invite you to exchange your sheet of paper with your lover. Take a minute to read what your lover has written down and then thank them for sharing. Look at your lover and tell them, thank you for sharing. Awesome. Before I share with you 3 ways to show your love in healthy, happy family relationships, I would like us to address one big misconception that has been the foundation of how we historically treat each other. I consider it one of the biggest myths about showing love. You remember the old saying to treat others as you want to be treated? It's called the golden rule, right? You may be surprised to learn that love relationships is one of the situations where when that rule is applied, it tends to backfire consistently, and I'll show you how and why it does. To treat others as you want to be treated means you assume that because you want something, it means the other person wants the same thing as you. If you take a closer look and consider it, it shows complete disregard for the choices and preferences of that person and can come across as disrespectful to them. Look, for instance, according to the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, there are 16 different personality types. That means 16 ways of looking at something, 16 different opinions and preferences. So what we need to do is to understand and appreciate the differences between people and their preferences. So for example, to put this into perspective, if your lover needs to feel deeply connected with you at body, mind, and soul levels, to connect emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually, and instead you buy them the most expensive material gifts. They may politely thank you, but to them, your relationship will remain superficial and unsatisfactory. This will be very disappointing to you because you might have worked hard to save up for the gifts just to demonstrate that you were loving them the best way you know how. You might think they are ungrateful or hard to please. But no, you assumed that they would want what you would want because if it is you, you would want them to buy you expensive gifts to make you feel loved. Let's see another illustration of how this misconception has failed other couples.
Now, the difficulty in keeping love alive is that we have assumed that what makes one person feel loved will make the other person feel loved. And that's a false assumption. Never forget the day that I first encountered this. A couple came into my office many years ago. I didn't know them. I found out later they'd been married to each other for 30 years. They sat down, and the wife said immediately, Dr. Chapman, I just want to tell you before we start that we don't argue. We don't believe in arguing. And I want you to know that we don't have any money problems. She said, I was reading an article that said money's the biggest problem in marriage. She said, well, that's not true for us. And she went on with 2 or 3 more positive things. I was beginning to wonder, did they come in here to tell me what a good marriage they have? But then she started crying. And she said, but Dr. Chapman, the problem is I just don't feel any love coming from him. We're like 2 roommates living in the same house. He has his life and I have my life. And there's nothing going on between us. And it's just so empty. And I don't know how much longer I can go on. And it's been like this for 20 years. Well, when she finished, I looked over at her husband and he said, I don't understand her. I do everything I can to show her that I love her. And she sits there and tells you what she's been telling me. She doesn't feel loved. He said, Dr. Chapman, I don't know what else to do. I said, well, what do you do to show your love to her? He said, well, I get home from work before she does, so I start the evening meal, and some nights I have it ready when she gets home. If not, she'll help me, and then we eat together, and after we eat, he says, I wash the dishes. And he said, every Thursday night I vacuum the floor. And every Saturday I wash the car and I mow the grass. And he said, I help her with the laundry. And he went on. I was beginning to wonder, what does this woman do? It sounded to me like he was doing everything. And he said, I do all these things to show her that I love her. And she sits there and says she doesn't feel loved. He said, Dr. Chapman, I don't know what else to do. Well, I looked back at her and she started crying again. She said, he's right. He's a hard-working man. She said, but we don't ever talk. We haven't talked in 20 years. He's always mowing the grass, washing the dishes, vacuuming. You understand what's going on? A sincere husband who is doing everything he knows to show his wife that he loves her, and a wife who doesn't get it.
I hope this helps clarify the confusion. We are learning to treat people with respect to their preferences, not based on how we want or assume they should want. So moving on. The first way to show your love is to create a space where you, your lover, and your kids feel safe to be in the presence of each other with undivided attention. Write that down. Create a space where you, your lover, and your kids feel safe to be in the presence of each other with undivided attention. You, your lover, and your children need to feel safe to relax in your presence so that you can open up and blossom. Please note that this does not need to be in a fancy environment with security cameras. Security cameras do not make anyone feel safer. It is about how safe and secure you feel being yourself and how you feel being in the presence of your lover and your children, and vice versa. Have you ever been in the presence of someone where you feel like you're walking on eggshells? You find it difficult to relax, don't you? Do you feel stressed by having to watch out all the time to avoid offending your lover or your kid? Do you feel safe to relax in your body? Let's turn that around. Does your lover feel safe to relax in your presence? Do your children feel safe to relax with you? Do your children feel safe to relax in your presence? Is there quiet tension in the air, or is there a peaceful, relaxing presence when you are around? That's the difference. So I invite you to do some self-reflection, to ask yourself, how do I feel when I am alone in my presence? How does my lover feel when they are in my presence? How do my children feel in my presence? How can I make my presence feel calming, reassuring, and peaceful? I'll give you a minute to reflect on those, and we will move on to the next step. To show your love is to become an expert in understanding your personality, your lover and your children's different personalities. This means you will gain some self-awareness to become conscious of who you truly are, your story, the impact of your life experiences, your triggers, and the different ways you've been compensating for any perceived limitations, your needs, and your preferences. Then understand your lover's personality type, their story, their experiences, their triggers, preferences, their needs, and every relevant aspect of their life. Do the same for each of your individual children. Their different personalities, their stories, their needs, and preferences. When you are done gathering all this information, accept each person just as they are without trying to change them. Many lovers engage in the process of trying to change their partners and children to fit into some preconceived notions or expectations of what they should and should not be. We only have control over ourselves. Get to understand the differences in your personalities and respect them. Understand your different preferences and respect them. Imagine you're having a conversation with your lover and there is a difference in opinions. I want you to try this with them. Lower your voice and lean forward. Look them straight in their eyes and tell them, I understand your difference in perspectives, and I respect that. Maintain silence, eye contact, then look away. Do not try to convince them. Give them time to think about it. They will gain some self-realization, and that will be more powerful. So take a minute to practice that. Lower your voice. Lean forward towards them. Look them straight in the eyes and tell them, I understand your difference in perspectives, and I respect that. Maintain eye contact, silence, and then look away. Sit with that for a minute, and we will go ahead to the next step. To show love is to become a servant leader in your family. Some of you might struggle with this one because of prior misconceptions, and I invite you to suspend those misconceptions for 1 minute and let's think together just for this period of time. Many of us were taught that one person has to self-sacrifice to serve the family, and one person has to subject to the other. That is the culture of dominance. Now look at it this way. I invite you to stand up where you are. Feel both of your feet on the ground. Do you feel grounded, balanced, and solid? Awesome. With both of your feet flat on the floor, you can walk one step at a time. Correct? You can increase your speed, run, go up and down stairs, slow down, jump and have fun taking a walk at the park, hiking, rock climbing. You feel like you can take on the world with both of your feet on the ground, right? Now, imagine that one of your legs is shorter. So pick up one foot from the floor. Hold your knee up. Now try walking. You will be limping, right? Try going faster. Does that work? What? How come? How balanced do you feel? How much longer can you stay standing? How far can you walk or run? Can you go up and down the mountains and walk at the park like you normally would? How do you feel going on one foot? Is it stressful on your body? Do you feel pressured? Okay. You have this dysfunctional gait pattern when you try to walk with one foot. Right? That's the same with families where leadership is based on dominance. If one person has to self-sacrifice to serve the family, or the other person has to subject to the other, it creates an imbalance and dysfunction in the family. Progress is slow, and you cannot attain your full potential if both of you take the responsibility to contribute and support each other for the growth and well-being of the family. The last part of this point is, once you recognize and respect the differences and preferences, take the leadership to serve the family. Anticipate the needs and preferences and meet those needs before they even realize it. For example, imagine this. On a Sunday evening, you know that Monday morning your lover goes through the morning commute to work. You want them to have a stress-free Monday morning. So while they are crashing on the couch on Sunday afternoon, you quietly take their car to their favorite station to get it detailed, washed, and filled with gas. You carefully return the car, and when they wake up later in a hurry, they realize you took care of that already. Now, they can have a relaxed Monday morning because they have a lover who anticipates their needs and meets them ahead of time. Or better still, you come home and your lover hands you a gift card to a spa and tells you they realize you work hard all day and they think you deserve time away from the kids. So they will stay with the kids and you can go spend some time alone at the spa and have a professional massage the way you want it. How will that make you feel? Do you feel loved? Are they loving you the way you want to be loved? All right. Sit with that for a minute and reflect on everything we have shared today. Us to the end of our episode today. My name is Gladys Berry, and it is always my pleasure to serve you in this capacity. Until next time, healthy lovers, I love myself and I love you. Mwah.
All this time you have been on my mind, and all the reasons why we're still in love. Days go by, flowers they bloom and die, all the while you and I, we're still in love. My dreams come alive. You make my